Um, where's the clips? Oh, Eric's here. Okay, perfect. Let's oh, there we go. What's up, Eric? Okay, so perfect that everybody's here. We can go ahead and get started. So this is the game plan for today. Very simple, as usual. Review the homework, do our hackering problems, and then um, this is your homework for today. It's just continuing a string two and a logic one. So, in the order on my screen, Kaden, you're first. Just message me. Dohi, Alex, Hannah, Eric. How was the homework? Did you manage to get through everything? Do you have any questions you want to go over? Stuff like that. How long did it take you? Okay, Dohi, go first.
Like I was able to finish everything, but like I just had some questions in string two.
Okay. You wanna let me just say their names and then we can go over them together.
It's like
Um,
and other like
string
mixed
two
string.
and other and what?
Mixed string.
Okay. Got everything else?
Oh yeah.
Okay, perfect. Alex, what about you?
I'm pretty sure I finished everything, so
And no questions at all?
no.
Okay, perfect. Was it like a lot of homework or like, you know?
It wasn't that much. I was able to finish it the same evening, so
Perfect, perfect. Hannah, what about you?
Sorry, I was kind of busy this week, so I only did like one row of like the string two, not like the
Okay, you're
second
good.
one though.
Like the second row.
Or like the fourth row. I'm not sure.
Like the second row of the homework I assigned you,
Oh
right?
yeah, sorry. I was thinking
Yeah,
the
yeah.
yeah, the second row of yeah, that's what I meant.
Was it, do you have any questions? Like,
I think it was okay.
okay, perfect. Thank you for letting me know. Just make sure to try to make it up. And then Eric.
Uh, it was like I completed it, but it like took a long time.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions or like,
Uh, Wait, let me. I think I skipped one of them. Give me a
okay.
second.
Yeah,
Uh,
now that we're it's like a level two thing, the problems are getting a little harder, so they should take longer.
it's called
Uh-huh.
Oh, it was the first one for string two that you
The very first
assigned.
one. Okay.
Yeah, it's called count code.
Okay, got you. Thank you. So we'll go ahead and go over these three problems. Okay. So string two, let's do count code first. Okay, so return the number of times that the string code appears anywhere in the given string, except we'll accept any letter for the letter D. So cope and co-count, right? So if we look at this example, AAA code BBB, so there's one there. Code XX code, so there's two, and then codes XX cope is two. So yeah, they just want us to go through the string and count the number of codes, except for the D, except for the third letter in code, right? So that means we're not really checking for code, we're checking for CO space E, right? So we'll go ahead and make like an answer variable to keep track of the number of times it shows up. We'll go ahead and parse through the string, right? So for int I equals 0, I is less than, we'll start with string not length, I plus plus. So the one thing I'm going to do here is for this for loop, I'm not going to make I go all the way to string not length minus 1, because we need to check for code, which is a 4-letter word. And if I want to check for like a substring I comma like I plus 4, right? If my I goes all the way to the last letter, then the I plus 4 is going to go out of bounds, right? So to like offset that and make sure that I don't go out of bounds, since I'm checking for a 4-letter word, I need to like make sure that my I ends like 4 indexes early. So I check the last 4 indexes as like one substring. So I'm actually gonna make this I is less than string dot length minus 4, right? Now we'll go ahead and say set a temporary string variable, and we'll just say it's string dot substring I comma I plus 4, right? We're just doing that so we don't have to type this substring over and over and over again. So we'll just call it temp for temporary. And this is what we're looking at, right? So now we just need to go through the code and check if this this temporary string is equal to the code minus the D, right? So how do we do that? We just need an if statement checking the CO and then the E. So if temp dot substring 0, 2 dot equals co and temp dot character at index 3 is equal to E, right? And that means it's code minus the D, right? So answer plus plus. And then we just have to return the answer. All right, so hopefully this works. Okay, so let's see, we have some problems. Code XX code only returns 1. So let's see why. If I plus 4, 10 dot substring, we got 2. Okay, yeah, so actually this is more interesting. So we're getting code should run and return 1, but it's returning 0. So let's see why. So if our input is code, right, then our for loop will start at 0 and go until 0, right? And so I think we can go ahead and try a minus 3. Let's see if that works. Yeah, there we go. So I guess the problem was that we were just not like checking the very beginning at index 0. So there you go. Does that make sense? I don't know if that helped. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that was count code. There's end other. So let's see. End other. Okay, so given 2 strings, return true if either of the strings appears at the very end of the other string, ignoring upper and lowercase differences. So hi ABC, 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 hi ABC. Oh wow. Okay, so the first thing that I noticed, right, is that like they're mixing up the uppercase and lowercase letters, and I really don't like that, right? So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and change everything into lowercase. So I'll say A equals A dot 2 lowercase, and then B equals B dot 2 lowercase, right? Now both of our strings are all lowercase letters, right? So the first thing to do is try to make the input as easy as possible. Okay, now we just need to check if one string is in the other string, right? So I think the trickiest part here is like you're probably reading this and thinking, okay, how do I know which string goes inside the other string, right? And for that, you just need to check their lengths, right? So I'll have like an if statement for like and do a bunch of stuff if A is the bigger string, and otherwise I'll do the opposite if B is the bigger string, right? So if A dot length is greater than B dot length, then we'll do a bunch of stuff, and then otherwise that means B is longer, so then we do a bunch of other stuff, right? So if A is longer than B, that means that we need to check if B is inside A, right? Or if B is at the very end of A. So we can say if A dot substring, right? B dot length, A dot length minus B dot length dot equals B, then we return true. So this substring is because if B is like a 3-letter word and A is like a 5-letter word, then we'd want to start at checking the substring at index 2, right? So it'd be 2, 3, 4. Indexes 2, 3, and 4 would be the substring for B, right? And then we can just have a return false, else return false. And then otherwise, that means it's the opposite and that B is longer, so we can just do the exact opposite. So B dot substring, B dot length minus A dot length dot equals A, then return true. Otherwise, return false. Okay, hopefully this works. Uh-oh, unclosed string literal. Oh. Okay, line 11. Oops. What the heck? Wow, there's a lot of errors. Oh! Yeah, this parentheses stuff is annoying. There we go. So just like that. Does that help, Dohi? I think is your question. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so for this question, like just the hard part was like sorting it into different scenarios. Like case one, like first you have to like, make sure they're all the same case, so uppercase or lowercase. Part two is like you have to check each case separately. If A is longer than B, then check if B is in A. Otherwise, so like you have to separate it like that. Okay, so there's one last question. Mixed string. Oh, mixed string. Okay. Let's see. Given two strings A and B, create a bigger string made of the first character of A, the first character of B, second character of A, second character of B, so on and so forth. Any leftover characters go at the end of the result. So ABC, XYZ turns into AX, BY, CZ. Okay, so this one is pretty straightforward in concept. And so the first thing that comes to my mind is, okay, let's use a for loop to loop through both strings and then just add on the remainder at the very end, right? Which is what I think we'll do. So I'll make my answer string started empty, and then I'll go ahead and loop through both strings. And so we'll say for int I equals 0. So the strings could be any length, right? So how do I know when to stop? Well, obviously I have to stop at the shorter string's length, right? Because if I have a string of length 3 and a string of length 5, I can't go until like index 4, right? Because that doesn't exist in the shorter string. So I'll say I is less than the minimum between the two. So math.min a.length, b.length. And you don't have to use the math.min method for this. You could have used like an if statement. Actually, you know what? Let's do that. Let's use an if statement because I'm not sure if you guys have used math.min before, right? So say if a dot length is greater than b dot length, and then otherwise we do the opposite. So if a is longer than b, for int I equals 0, I is less than b dot length because it's shorter, I plus plus. And then we just have to say answer plus equals a dot character at I, answer plus equals b dot character at I. Okay, perfect. And then at the end, we know that a is longer, so we can just say answer plus equals answer dot substring and the remainder of a, right? So we say like a dot, answer plus equals a dot substring, a dot length minus b dot length, right? Whatever characters are left over. And then we do this exact same thing over here. So for int I equals 0, I is less than a dot length, because now b is longer. Answer plus equals a dot character at I, answer plus equals b dot character at I. Go ahead and change that. After the for loop, just add on whatever's left over, right? So since a is shorter this time, we'll say answer plus equals b dot substring, b dot length minus a dot length. And then return answer. Okay, hopefully this works. Oh my goodness. Okay, so there's a problem here. So let's see what that is. ABC XYZ returns AX BY CZ XYZ, which is weird. Oh, okay. Else if so I think what I'll do here is say else if a dot length is less than b dot length, and then we'll put an else here, which means that the two lengths are equal, right? So we'll go ahead and do the exact same thing. Okay, let's try that. Oh, come on. What's the issue? Wait, line 9. Oh, oops. Okay, so let's see, what's the issue? Hi there should return. Oh, it looks like we're missing a letter here. So that's in this case. So maybe it's this. Maybe it should be like this. See, I'm like at this point, like the concept is correct, but we're just playing around with the numbers, right? To see, to try to fix, like fine tune the details, right? So. Oh, I think I know the issue. It should be like this. It should not be a dot length minus p dot length. I'm pretty sure it just be p dot length. Oops. Okay, that'll probably fix it. There we go. And honestly, we don't even need this last else statement. Okay, guess we do. Oh yeah, perfect. All right, that's it, guys. Any questions? No? But did that help? Okay, yeah. So like these string 2 problems are like, it's level 2, so they're getting harder, they're gonna take more time. Just play around with them, like figure out the general concept. Make sure you're clear, like you clearly split up like the different like cases, like okay, like this could be case 1, case 2, case 3, and make sure you're like don't like just start typing like with like a vague idea of how to do it in your head, right? Really like think about what you want to do before you start doing it, right? Same thing with like math, right? You don't just start like writing and hoping something will happen, right? But yeah, so great job, guys. So that was the homework. And so now today's class is a little special because I only have two hackering problems prepared for you guys today. But these are hard problems. Like they are hard. And so I have high hopes for you guys, right? You either will solve the problem or you will get better. You get better either way, but you either solve the problem or learn how to solve the problem, right? So I think today would be a really good class for you guys to like learn how to like think and how to code more complex problems. And so the first problem is a warm-up. It's called picking numbers. So why don't we go to that? I'm gonna stop screen sharing for a second. So it looks like this. Okay, so basically I will go ahead and just explain this problem to you guys because when I was doing this problem, I like totally misunderstood it. I just want to make sure you guys don't waste time like not understanding the problem, right? So for this problem, the input is just going to be an array list of numbers like this. And what they expect you to do is return the length of the longest subarray where the absolute difference between any two elements is less than or equal to 1. So what does that mean? That means like in this sample input here, we have 4, 6, 5, 3, 3, 1, right? And the longest subarray of elements that have a difference of plus or minus 1 is 4, 3, 3, 1, right? Sorry, 4, 3, 3. 4, 3, 3, right? The reason you don't include 5 is because although 4 is 1 away from 5, 5 is 2 away from 3, right? So that does not work. So 4, 6, 5, 3, 3, 1, your answer should return 3 because like you choose 4, 3, 3 because every pair in the multi-set has an absolute difference of less than or equal to 1. So for this bottom sample input here, which might be easier to see, the answer should be 5 because there's 6 numbers and it's 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, right? And so you pick 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, right? That's your subarray. And that's your longest subarray, which is why you return 5. So that's the problem, right? I think the important thing to note here is that your numbers do not have to be continuous, like next to each other, in order for them to count as a subarray, right? Like the 4 is like part of the subarray with the two threes, right? So just keep that in mind. Okay, so with that in mind, go ahead and solve the problem. Ask me any questions if you like still like don't quite get the problem, or like you need help getting started, or you need like syntax methods. You're like, what's the quickest way to sort an array, or the easiest way or something, right? Anything of that, just ask me. Keep in mind the internet is, this is an open source problem. You can use the internet if you want. You can search up anything you want except like copy pasting, like looking up answers to this exact problem. That would be a waste of time. But bar that, everything else is fair game. Yeah, I'll give you guys like maybe till like 4 for this. I'll keep checking in on you guys. It's a hard problem, right? But I think you guys can do it, so go for it. And let me know when you finish. Yeah. Okay, so this problem, I'm sure there's a jillion ways to do it. But the way I recommended it to you guys was sorting it into ascending order, right? So remember that the internet is your free source, right? So either you could have sorted this array list like manually, or you could have, come up upon this collections.sort method. But regardless, sort your array list first, right? After that, your array list is in ascending order, and now all you really have to do is use a for loop and go through the array list from left to right, and just check if the current number you're looking at is at maximum one number away, one number bigger than like your temporary stored number. And if it is, then you can just increase the length count of whatever of your current subarray, right? Otherwise, your temporary number becomes the current number, right? So you start a new subarray, you reset your length to 1, and this means that you have just finished the subarray. So you have to compare if the subarray you just finished is longer than your current answer. And if it is, then you make your answer this new subarray. So yeah, you can like take a picture, copy it down, whatever. But yeah, that's why like sorting it is such a useful tool, right? It just makes it so much easier. So go ahead and give this a minute. Yeah, perfect. So just like that. Yeah, so that is this problem. I'd say the hardest part was like sorting the data, right? So like, collections.sort just made our lives so much easier, right? Okay, so right now is 4:03, so take like 7 minutes, come back at 4:10, and then I'll give you guys 50 minutes to work on the last question. Okay, go ahead and take a break, guys. So this is our last problem of the day. Now I'm not gonna lie, this is a hard problem. So if you've noticed on HackerRank, every problem has like a difficulty level. So we've been doing easy level problems so far. So this is our first medium level problem that we're doing in this class, right? I do not expect you guys to solve it, but it should be a very good experience. So it's called forming a magic square. So go ahead and look for forming a magic square. And you can see right here, this is the little orange medium, right? I mean, it's hard. Okay. So I'll go ahead and explain this problem to you guys too. Obviously read it after, but hopefully my explanation will be helpful, right? So they want us to return, first let me explain what magic square is. So this whole problem is about magic squares. So a magic square is basically any square, so like a 2D array, where all the rows, columns, and diagonals add up to the same exact number. So what does that mean? Well, if you look at this magic square here, where my mouse is, I'll go ahead and circle it. This is a magic square. And that's because like 8, 3, 4, the top row. That adds up to 15. Pick any diagonal row or column, it'll add up to 15, right? The right one, 4, 9, 2, going down, that's 15. The left one, 8, 1, 6, that's 15. You go left top to bottom right diagonal, right? 8, 5, 2, that's 15. You go right top to left bottom diagonal, that's 4, 5, 6, that's 15. So that is what a magic square is. And this problem is giving us it promises to only give us 3 by 3 2D arrays, right? So they basically are this problem is gonna give us a 2D array, which is they promise is gonna be 3 by 3, so it'll look like this with like different numbers, obviously, and they want us to turn it into a magic square. So you have to like change some of the numbers to turn it into a magic square. And keep in mind, these like a magic square has like the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Like there's no like there's no duplicate numbers, right? There's no like 2 5s or 2 6s, right? And so the input on the other hand can have duplicate numbers. So like I think that's like the bottom example. If you go down here, yeah, this sample input here, right? There's 2 4s, so they can give you any numbers, right? And they expect you to turn this into a magic square. So you have to change some of these numbers and turn it into a magic square. Now, what they want you to do is once you turn it into a magic square, they want you to return the cost of doing so. So the cost of turning like 2D array into a magic square is like every time you change a number, you have to like take the difference of the two numbers and then like add it to your cost. So I think the easiest way to show this is by going through this sample input right here. So this is the 2D array they give us, and they want us to turn it into this magic square. Oh, this is the fastest magic square to turn it into, or the easiest. And so the cost of turning it into this magic square is looking at the replacements, right? So you turn this 5 into an 8, so that's +3 cost. You turn this 8 into a 9, so that's +1 cost, and you turn this 4 into a 7, so that's -2. That's +2 cost, +3 cost actually. So 3 + 1 + 3 gives you 7. So that's the whole cost formula. So they want you to return the cost, the cheapest cost of turning this into a magic square. So if you've just heard me talk, hopefully you understand what a magic square is. And you've heard me say the cheapest cost, which implies that there are multiple magic squares that can exist. And there are, right? So what I've done for you guys is taking this website, what is a magic square and how to solve it. And I will post it in the Zoom chat. And it turns out that there is a formula to magic squares, right? There is a formula and you can read about it on that website. But basically, that means that there are multiple possible magic squares possible, and you have to figure out the cheapest one to turn this into. So I want you guys to go ahead and get started on this problem. I will check in on you guys every couple of minutes or so, and at some point I will be giving hints and stuff as we go along. The hope is that maybe you guys will be able to solve it by the end of class, with some like prodding in the right direction, right? But yeah. Remember, the internet is open source, bar searching up this exact problem and how to solve it, right? But yeah, so go for it, guys. And please let me know if you have questions. And please, 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 if you finish, message me and let me know. Okay, yeah, go for it. But yeah, I mean, it was a good experience, right? So let's go ahead, let me share my screen. Okay, so again, as I was saying, I think the hardest part is just like actually getting the master grid, right, of possible magic squares. The rest of it, you just have to calculate the cost. And so what I did is I actually made an array list to hold all the possible costs. And after that, you just have to loop through the master grid and check each possible magic square, right? So you guys have never actually looped through like a 3D array before, but the same principles follow as looping through like a 2D array or like a 1D array, right? And also you guys could have looked it up. So a 3D array is an array of 2D arrays. So if I want to use like a for loop, the first thing I need to do is look at all the 2D arrays, right? So in this for each loop, it's like data type, name, and then name of the array. So the data type is 2D array because the 3D array is just an array of 2D arrays, right? And then inside this, now inside this big master loop, I'm now going to use a double for loop because this for loop will get me into the 1D arrays, and then this for loop will actually get me the numbers inside the 1D arrays, right? And so once you're actually at the numbers, you just need to check if the corresponding number check the difference between the corresponding number in the master grid and inside your matrix, your given matrix, and just add that to your cost. I called it temporary, or whatever you want to call it. And then at the end, once you run through like one of these possible matrices, you just add that cost to your like array list or wherever you're storing your costs, right? And then once you run through all 9, you should have 9 different costs inside your array list of costs. And you just have to pick the cheapest one, which is the lowest number. So in this case, you can sort, right? Collections.sort your array list of costs, and then just return the smallest cost, aka costs at index 0. So yeah, hard problem, but I mean, you guys got through most of it, if not all of it, right? So I'm really proud of you guys for today. So great job today, guys. Thank you for coming. The homework is posted in the Discord chat already. At some point or another, I will get all the YouTube videos uploaded, but I have not gotten to those yet. So yeah, thank you guys so much for coming today, and I'll see you guys next week.